Good evening, friends. I'm Sue Ann Delk. Today is Friday, December 18th, 2020, and this is my daily report and card pull. Thank you for watching. So, are any of you as happy as I am that it's Friday and we finally get a weekend? All right. Just in case you're interested or curious, here's my shirt for the day. I forget every day to show y'all, but this one is very important. It's beginning to look a lot like happy hour. Oh, there's a cat on the couch behind me. You see that cat? Cat. Cat, 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 cat. That is Gunther. Gunther. Good kitty. Sometimes. Most of the time. Okay, occasionally. So, how are y'all doing? Everyone have a good day? My day was long. It was long and tedious and kind of boring. I mean, not that boring is always bad. Every day can't be full of excitement. We burn out. But, yeah, it was long and boring. That's okay, because now it's the weekend. And I'm going to do so many things. I'm going to do chores. That's every weekend and every day. Chores, chores, chores. So what are y'all doing this weekend? Are any of you doing anything fun and exciting? Tell me down below in a message so I can be jelly. Alright, in case you haven't been watching the last few days, we are pulling from the deck called Cartouche. Cartouche, which is the name of this thing right here, with the things inside of it. That is a cartouche. And it's a great deck. It's a lot of fun. It's not a lot of cards. I think it's 25 total. But beautiful artwork. Every single one of them. Oh, what's the orange one? Set. I wonder why there's one orange one. Maybe when we pull that one, we'll find out. What if it was tonight? That would be so freaky, wouldn't it? Alan and I were talking tonight. We miss going places and doing things. Like, ordinarily this time of year, we probably would have made a trip to Kohl's. Probably would have made a trip to the Woodlands Mall to hit up Macy's and Nordstrom and Dillard's, maybe. In that order. I love to look at Nordstrom. The price tags usually scare me away. But the cosmetic counters are all the same priced. Estee Lauder makeup at Macy's costs the same as Estee Lauder makeup at Nordstrom. And sometimes the big difference is that the free gifts with purchase are better at Nordstrom. I quit that chase a few years ago. I don't do that anymore. I was like, oh, free gift. I must have it. I need no makeup whatsoever. But look at the free gift. Oh. Alright. One last cut. There's our card for the day. Oh, what is that? Card 1. Osiris. Card 1, y'all. No growling. This is a no growl zone. Here's the book. Fabulous book. It's huge. It's got pages about each card. Copyright 1985. first edition. Card 1, Osiris. The stylized tree, God King, Lord of Light, the Khu, or Spirit. The nature is fixed. Keywords for instant reference: upright, wisdom, justice, integrity, stability, respect for those older and wiser, responsibility. The spiritual, transpersonal, or superconscious level. Osiris is the wise spiritual father, and his energies are gentle but firm. They represent religious and devotional matters, wisdom, and the kind of spiritual strength one can turn to in times of need. The psychological, mental, or subconscious level. Justice, integrity, and responsibility are expressed here, as well as a healthy respect for those older and wiser. So in a reading, it represents an advisor, counselor, or some reliable and well-adjusted person to whom one can turn for understanding or guidance. In the first house in a horoscope spread, Osiris would be advising the inquirer to rely upon his or her own judgment. The material, mundane, or conscious level. When a question is asked and Osiris features prominently in the answer, a degree of security or a stable situation usually can be inferred. A prospective investment would be gilt-edged. A contemplated house purchase safe and secure for anyone wishing to put down roots. An idea sound. Osiris in the 10th house would augur well for a secure career, in the 7th a stable partnership, and so forth. In addition to his more spiritual role, Osiris was also worshipped in ancient Egypt as a giver of growth and fertility, for according to the legend, he taught people the art of growing and harvesting their own grain. So while it is possible for Osiris bounties to be manifest as practical blessings, these will not take the same form as a fertility represented by the buckle of Isis, which requires a sacrifice in return for its increases. And then it does the reversed, which we're not doing this time. Wow. Hey, children. No fight. No cat fight. Ooh. The cat fight went upstairs. Now they're Alan's problem. He'll run them back down here in a minute. The legend is long, but it's very interesting. During the 3,000 years or more that the old Egyptian civilization lasted, Osiris was one of the most loved and respected deities, holding the position of principal god in one or another part of the country throughout the entire period. In order to understand the nature of the Osiris card and the archetype it represents, it is helpful to know the story of Osiris and his family and the spiritual drama that unfolded around them. According to legend, Osiris and his sister wife Isis ruled over the lands later called Egypt. Although no one really knows for sure whether their kingdom was an earthly one or whether their story and deeds related to some more spiritual realm. The myth tells us that they were divinities from heaven who had descended to earth, star people, ? To aid the spiritual development of mankind. Osiris had a brother named Set, sometimes also called Seth or Typhon. Typhon? Typhon. Typhon. And the two brothers dwelled amicably with their wives Isis and Nephthys. Nephthy's. Hello, Burrito. In the lands over which Osiris ruled. Osiris was much loved by the people, having taught them the gentler arts of civilization. He promoted piety, good health, and well-being among them, as well as teaching about how to grow and harvest grain, build fine temples and homes, and to observe the covenants of his solar region. While traveling with Isis to the corners of his empire to supervise the thanks, Burrito. To supervise the care of his subjects, Osiris was suddenly summoned by his brother to return. Set was, unknown to Osiris, extremely jealous of his brother's popularity and had conspired with 72 others to arrange a banquet to celebrate the king's homecoming. As a part of the entertainment, a strange box was introduced, and one after another the guests tried to fit themselves into it. But only Osiris was able to slip comfortably inside, upon which the conspirators shut and sealed the lid. The box was then cast into the Nile, or the sea, and carried onward until it was eventually caught up in a tamarisk tree. Isis had by then received the news of what had happened. Accompanied by Nephthys' son Anubis, she set out to search for her husband's body. Children, they're playing in a box. One cat gets in the box and another cat jumps on top of the box and slaps into the box, trying to slap the cat inside the box. Gotta love cats in boxes. She located the tree, but it was guarded by a magical power which prevented her from approaching it. As she anxiously waited, wondering what to do next, the king of Byblos came looking for a tree to serve as a column for his palace. And much to the dismay of Isis, he chose the very one that held the body of Osiris. Using her magical powers, Isis changed herself into a dove and uttered plaintive cries to dissuade the men from cutting it down, but to no avail. So she resumed her mortal appearance and offered herself at the palace as a nurse to the queen's child. Once near the tree, she was able to work her magic and secure the box. But her troubles were hardly over, for Set heard about her deeds and artfully contrived to steal the box as she slept. To ensure that she could never again find her husband, Set cut the body of Osiris into 14 pieces, which he then proceeded to disperse in different places. But Isis was not deterred. Joined by Nephthys, who had left Set after his dastardly deed, Anubis and their uncle Thoth, Isis traveled far and wide until every piece of the body had been located except the phallus, which had been devoured by an oxyrichnid, or some say a spider. So Isis fashioned a wooden facsimile of the missing member and pieced the whole body together. She wept bitterly over her beloved husband's remains and chanted magically using all her powers. Thoth also aided her with his occult prowess, and this combination was so powerful that life was temporarily restored to Osiris so that he and Isis could conceive a child. With that wooden member. Interesting. Osiris then ascended into heaven and continued to watch over Isis while she carried and bore his son Horus. According to one legend, Osiris remained in the box in the tamarisk tree for 3 days and 3 nights, but on the 3rd day he rose and ascended into heaven at the time corresponding to the feast of Christmas. The lowest point of the sun at the winter solstice on December 22nd was believed to represent the death of Osiris, his resurrection or rebirth, becoming a reality 3 days later, on December 25th. In this version of the tale, Isis is a virgin mother to Horus, the spirit of Osiris having descended upon her from on high for the conception. A third legend tells how Horus was conceived by Isis and Osiris while they themselves were still in the womb of their mother, Nut. When Thoth was able to arrange for their birth, only 5 intercalary days, see under Thoth, page 69. The 5 children born to Geb and Nut were Isis, Osiris, Horus, Nephthys, boy, that one's tripping me up, Nephthys and Set. Certain authorities consider that the Horus mentioned in this story is either an earlier deity upon whom the name was later bestowed, or one of the other gods, perhaps Sekhmet, Thoth, or even Anubis. But for Cartouche, we have chosen to follow the more popular interpretation of the Osirian saga. The other members of the family of Osiris are also featured in Cartouche, their roles being relevant to the final chapters of the drama, which many believe will be played out in the future. Wow. Super interesting card. Okay. I hope y'all found that interesting and entertaining. I found it interesting for sure. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, take care. Good night.